Hello guys, and I guess welcome back to myself for finally being here again. Anyways, hang on, I'm being OCD about this mail. Yeah, that's what I thought, just a gold seller. Anyways, I'm playing Elder Scrolls Online at the moment in this video. I don't plan on doing a Let's Play of this, more than likely, but just had some things that I wanted to say about the game, but more on that later. Basically, in terms of where I've been lately, well, part of it has been I wanted to have a better mic to record, because I was just getting kind of self-conscious about the mic that I had. I didn't really feel it was quite up to par. I have a much better mic now. Whoa, things not loading in properly. But the Blue Snowball is what it is, and it's a really nice mic. It's a bit bigger than what I thought in terms of how it looked in the pictures, but yeah, everything about it so far has been pretty much. It's been.
Do not waste my time.
Pretty nice, and but anyways. So there was partially that, and then partially kind of school has been kind of in the way as well. Like I really, even if I did have a mic to be able to record, there's no way I really would have been able to make that many videos anyways. But the semester's starting to wind down, and I feel like I'm starting to get ahead in my schoolwork, so I felt I'd take the time to do this and sort of update on where I am in terms of my channel. But yeah, I guess going into that, somewhere between the last time I recorded and now, I needed to reinstall Windows on my computer, and I pretty much started fresh. So a good majority of my saves, unless they were on Steam Cloud, they're gone. So I really don't have anything. I planned on doing Outlast, though. I probably will go back, and it won't take me long to get back up to the point that I was at. So I'll start on that again. Maybe I'll start a new Civilization 5 campaign. I don't know. Maybe I'll do XCOM. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that sounds like it'd be exciting. Or more exciting to watch than Civ, but I don't know. Then I have what other Let's Plays was I doing at the time? I think it was just primarily those two, really, because some of the other ones, like I still had, and every once in a while I would do them, but I wasn't really, like, I tried to go back to Oblivion, but there were some issues with that, and now I don't have Oblivion installed, so I'd have to reinstall and everything, and that would be, I don't know, maybe I'll dig into that. But I will be making videos, so, yeah, it's always been kind of like an off and on thing with this. As of these last several months, though, I've had people that have, for whatever reason, despite the fact that I've been kind of not there's been people, subscribing or saying kind of encouraging things like feedback or something, just saying that they like what I apparently put out, which is nice to hear. And it's those kind of comments every once in a while I feel that is kind of like makes you want to go in and be like, all right, yeah, I'm ready to do this again. But yeah, until I don't feel like doing it, and then there's another couple months long break. But we'll see. I don't know. It really just depends on what's going on in my life. Anyways, what I kind of wanted to do with just this video is obviously update you, which I've pretty much done. Sorry if it sounds like I'm kind of going through a list. I've already pretty much said all this before, but I had some issues with the recording, so yeah. but pretty much I wanted to make this video kind of like almost as a response to people that have kind of been bashing the Elder Scrolls Online. I feel there's been just as many positive feedback as well, but there's been a lot of people saying like, oh, this game's gonna suck, blah blah blah. And admittedly, I was actually, when they first announced this, I was skeptical. I didn't think this was gonna do very well, just because Elder Scrolls have always been primarily single player experiences. So, it just seemed weird to make it an MMO. But upon playing the beta, I've had pretty favorable experience with it. It was mixed bag at times, just with some of the areas that maybe I went through and I wasn't too impressed. But overall, it was a pleasant experience, and obviously I got the game. I pre-ordered it, actually, and well, there is the whole fiasco with the pre-order bonuses, but I didn't get the Imperial Edition, because I kind of felt the Imperials were overrated. But yeah, I don't agree with their business practice that they did there. $15 a month, and having to pay more to get stuff, and having a cash shop. Excuse me, but that's way too much, and they shouldn't have done that. But whatever the case, they did, so nothing we could do now. But yeah, I just wanted to bring up like why I feel that this is a decent game for me. Anyways, first off, I feel that the quest and the story writing for the game, I feel, oh, that's just an ingredient. Never mind. I thought it was like some sort of bait. But the quest arcs and the story arcs for the game, it's, different things in the game, I feel that's done fairly well, actually. I can't honestly say that I mean, there were some quests, that maybe aren't as good as others, but for the most part, I've been pretty pleased with what I've seen so far, which is really good for someone like me, because I feel that a large emphasis with an MMO that people tend to talk about a little bit too much is the end game material in an MMO. And while while I agree, I guess the end game is important, because once you get to that peak level, you want to still have stuff to do. But for me, I'm a very slow leveler in MMOs, and I honestly, a giant snake. But I honestly have never actually made it to an end game in any MMO, and I feel like I played WoW for a considerable amount of time, about a year or so, like consistently, and then maybe another year on off. And for me, I don't know, with an MMO, that's kind of a while. I mean, some people are like, oh yeah, I've been playing WoW for 6 years or something, but I didn't really feel that it was that engaging unless you were playing with people. But, yeah, so for me, that sort of intro content is what... Ooh, this is where the Nest Mother is, I guess? But that intro content is sort of like the pre-end game, I guess I should say, is what appeals to me, because that's all I ever really get to see most of the time. So, yeah, so I'm sort of pleased with that so far. And then we have the combat itself, which obviously is a very important part of the game, so that's what you're going to be doing most of the time. I feel that, come on. I feel that the combat is done fairly well, about as close as they probably could have made it to the Elder Scrolls series. Like, I don't think they could have done it completely like the Elder Scrolls series, just since this is an MMO. but I think the good core of it's still there, which is nice. But it follows, like, you know, it does have a class system in it where there's 4 classes: the Templar, Nightblade, Dragon Knight, and then the Sorcerer. And each of them have their own, like, their own sort of trees, you could say. Like, where is it? Like, see, they have their different trees within their class. But then everyone has the ability to choose, you know, different weapons, and any class could use any weapon, and any class can use any armor. So that's a nice, you know, I really like how they made it very customizable in terms of your character and character progression. And then you also have Soul Magic, which that's mainly more like story related. You're supposed to be like someone who doesn't have a soul. You escape Molag Bal's realm of Cold Harbor, and you're trying to bring him down. Then there's various guilds have their own skills as you move up in the guild ranks. There's your own racial skills, just like, you know, how there's different racial abilities in the Elder Scrolls games. And then, of course, all the different crafting levels, which is the crafting is a really fun bit in this game, I feel, because it's if I could get to a crafting table, I could explain it better, because then I could just show you. Let me just fast travel to that way shrine. But yeah, some people would complain though about the combat in that it follows something similar to like Guild Wars 2, where it's a very limited sort of skill set. You have 5 skills here that you select from your weapons, your class, the guilds you're in, you know, all that stuff gets set here. Then you have your ultimate skill, which you get from one of your class trees. And then you also have, she's standing on her horse. But then you also get a quick slot, which is for your potions and whatnot. And I honestly like this system. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Guild Wars 2, they needed to have more skills, but honestly, I've always been intimidated by those type of, you know, games like Star Wars: The Old Republic or World of Warcraft, because whenever I quit the game because I'm, you know, bored with it, and then when I want to go back, I always forget how to play my character, and then I end up usually starting all over. So that may actually be a reason why I never hit endgame. But with this, I like it because now I got 5 skills, look at what those 5 skills can do, and then if I want to modify them later, you know, I can look at what other skills I unlocked at the time and go from there. It's very easy to sort of catch on to. But anyways, the crafting system is nice too, because I feel it's really robust. It's probably well, I don't know. I can't vouch for all MMOs because I obviously haven't played all MMOs. But in the MMOs that I have played, I feel this is one of the more robust systems in that you have, you know, obviously you could craft all these different gear, you know, all the different gear that you can get, you know, weapons, armors. This just happens to be the clothing table, which allows you to make light and medium armor. But you can make weapons and other things. But you know, you can create them based on, you know, what level you can work with based on your crafting skill, and eventually you can work with higher level material to make, you know, stuff for later on down the level lines. But, you know, furthermore, it makes it even more interesting because you have all these different styles that maybe like you know, like say this helmet here, well, this light armor helmet, you know, it's going to look different. Like a level 1 light armor helmet for the Nord is going to look different than that of like the Dunmer. And I really like that because it just adds so much more customization that I feel some MMOs don't have, because, you know, especially those MMOs that don't have like a lot of armor sets, especially in the beginner levels, you might go through and be like, man, I feel like I've been wearing the same armor for 10 levels or something like that. But with this, it offers something different and makes your character stand out just a little bit more. But also, for me, I could get that just right look that I want, because in MMOs, I always tend to be like a fashionista, to say the least. But I mean, who isn't though? Who isn't? I mean, everybody wants to have their character look just right. I mean, maybe those people that are like twinking their characters, or I'm pretty sure that was a term for it, where you just have it completely PvP oriented, so they don't care what they look like. But I think most of us like to look like a badass or whatever they're trying to go for. And then on top of that, there's also traits for each of these items you can create, where they add like sturdy, 22% chance to avoid decay when defeated, or impenetrable, increased resistance to critical hits by 60, which is also nice because the way you get these traits is when you find items in the world, you could deconstruct, you could research from them, and where I'm researching currently well fitted, which reduces the cost of sprinting. I could research this for robes, so whenever I create a robe, if I have this particular gemstone, which I think is Almadine or something like that. Yeah, see, Almadine. Then I can create my robe to have the well-fitted trait, which is nice because I feel it's, again, more customization for your character. But on top of that, I think it's also kind of a nice little, separation of who's the really hardcore crafters and who's just the crafters that maybe just, they craft their gear and they craft it to make sure they stay on top of it for, to have the right leveled armor, but they don't have as many of these traits researched, because it takes it starts getting to be insane times as you go further and further along with getting more traits researched. I think the one that I have right now is 2 days or something like that, but I mean, that was only on the 4th trait, and there's I think 9 of them or something, or 8 of them, so it's probably going to get to something ridiculous by the last trait that you have to research. But yeah, so I've really enjoyed the crafting system, and on top of that, and this kind of falls in line just with exploration in the game, is that you could explore the game and find things that you wouldn't have found otherwise. There's you got the quests, yeah, of course, there's always quests in MMOs, but if you just go from quest to quest, quest area to quest area, you're probably not going to find every little bit of content that there really is, because there's this place here, Dell's Claim, there was no quest tied to this at all. I just happened to go in there and I found a group of bad guys, we could just say. You go in there and I killed the boss leader that was in there, and while I was exploring around that particular cave, I think it was I came across a little note saying how this guy, he had died. It was like a note next to a dead body, but he regretted the choices he made by going in with this group of people, and he wanted to say sorry to his mother, and you could take that note up to his mother in Matissan and give it to her, and you wouldn't have came across that if you didn't go explore her. And then you have this Toothmaw Gully, which was what they called a public dungeon. Public dungeons is basically just everybody could go in it, and then you have the private dungeons, which is more of an instance dungeon, apparently Banished Cells would more than likely be a private dungeon, which I haven't experienced yet because I'm not that high of a level. But then you have these, you have these camps that have maybe a harder, challenging fight, like this happened to be with bandits. You have the Mundus stones, aka standing stones of Skyrim, that you could find, which also provides you with boons, just like in Skyrim. But back to the crafting thing, is there are special like crafting stations sort of throughout the world that you could find that have special set bonuses that you could only get by crafting at these particular stations. And the only way I could craft like this one happened to be the Deathwind set. If I had 3 items crafted with the Deathwind set, I would get the set bonus, which was if struck by melee attack while below 35% health, triggers an area of effect knockback. This effect can only happen once every 3 minutes. But I wouldn't have got that otherwise unless I happened to go to this, that particular camp. And also, furthermore, in order to actually craft those items, I needed to have at least 2 traits researched in a particular item that I would want to have that Deathwind set bonus. Die. But yeah, that being said, I really, I just wanted to drive the point home that I feel this game is really good for players like me. Players who like are really slow at leveling, who just like to take the game in. I mean, that, just on that note, I mean, the game for an MMO anyways I feel it looks great. Like, a lot of people were saying before, like, oh, this doesn't look anything like Skyrim, but it's like, of course it's not. It's an MMO, but compared to other MMOs, it looks great. Whether or not that's justification, I mean, I don't know. For some people it's not, but I was really quite impressed with the game world. But in terms of other things in the game, like PvP, I haven't really experienced that too much, so I can't say from first-hand experience, but, I'm sure many of us have heard that it's pretty awesome for the most part. Same with endgame. Obviously, I'm nowhere near endgame. This guy's only level 13, and level 50 is the final level. Then you have your veteran ranks. So I'm not there yet. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of create this video as a way to just sort of make a response to, I guess, the sort of backlash that this game has sort of been giving. I mean, it's been giving just as many positive sort of feedback as well, but I think there's a good number of people out there like, oh, this game, it's crap, blah blah blah, it sucks. And I don't think some people are giving it quite the credit it deserves. I mean, maybe. Oh, I couldn't get that. But I could imagine some people are just, they're just saying that it's bad when they really have no idea. But I mean, there's just as many people that did try it out. And now I'm sounding like I'm sending mixed messages, but. Just my own message is that I feel it's a good game, and I just wanted to make this as a response to say that I feel that way. And maybe somebody will watch this and then, hear what I have to say and be like, yeah, I'm a pretty slow leveler too, and I haven't really been too enthused about past MMOs, and maybe this is something that I want to play, but or maybe you'll just watch this and be like, why the heck did he do an ESO video when he should be doing Let's Plays? But on that note, I don't really plan on Let's Playing this game unless you guys really happen to clamor for it. But maybe I do like PvP stuff or like a dungeon or something. Because I was thinking about going back to doing like Let's Plays with my fiance again, but we'll have to see. But anyways, before I have any more technical difficulties, because it was like around this time that I suddenly got a blue screen of death. Alright, so you'll be seeing and hearing from me again very shortly. And hope you enjoyed this video, and if not, well then, there will be other videos to enjoy. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in this video, because I was trying to repeat things that I said the last time I recorded, but these last few months I have been getting rather encouraging remarks from some of you, just through subscription or maybe commenting on a video or something, and that's kind of it's kind of been another motivation where I've just been like, oh, I really want to make a video because you guys are awesome. But yep, thanks for watching, and yeah, thanks.